Hello, hello. Welcome to my live. This, I believe, is art and coloring. I want to say lesson 7 because lessons, or we could say lesson 6, but the last lesson was a Procreate class. This one was a highly requested class, and that is color pencils. So that's what we're going to be getting into today. As always, when this live is over, it'll be immediately uploaded for replay. I'm just waiting for a few more people to enter. Today you're going to see me primarily using, hi Tay, the new Ohuhu oil-based color pencils. I recently got these. I'm still getting used to them because they're very, very soft. But I do think this is a good starter color pencil set. I'm a Prismacolor girly personally, but Prismacolor is extremely pricey. Extremely pricey. I have a shorts that's gonna go up tonight where I'm in Michael's color pencil prices. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. I don't think I will ever get another large set of Prismacolor color pencils. I think I'm gonna ride those out to those are nubs. I'm gonna ride those out to their nubs. Hi. I understand why color pencils are expensive. I understand. I've seen what a person with a trained hand can do with them in their hands. So I can understand. Something that can render realism is gonna be pricey. But I just don't know if I want to have a cell phone payment the same. Well, you know what? When you compare apples to oranges, um, the price of some color pencils is the price that some people are paying for their cell phones a month. I will say that. So if they can afford that, they can afford to invest in these color pencils. I will say that. It's an investment. It's not something that if you're not sure you're gonna stick with it, don't invest in it. You're just gonna waste your money. It's an investment to get you Prismacolor color pencils. If you are just starting and you want a wide variety, you can get something like the Ohuhu ones. They're under $100. They're under 100 for 72. That's a decent thing. I think 72 Artist Loft is about 100. Artist Loft is Michael's brand, not even name brand. It's the Great Value color pencils. And if you don't know, tomorrow night at midnight is the last night you can pre-order Pause and Proper. Also, not just Pause and Proper, but Vibe and Color and Zodiac Dreams are all of a pre-order for their spiral bound versions. So if you haven't grabbed them, do, because y'all need to. I don't want to hit nobody emailing me or DMing me when are they gonna go back on sale. I had people as far as France emailing me about my coloring books and when I was gonna have the bound version. Like, honey, I don't even ship there. I'm so sorry. But that's how much they were wanted. So please don't slip on them. Thank you. The last time I shipped international, I shipped the Zodiac coloring book to Denmark. Oh Lord, it was so expensive. It was so expensive. It was $45 to ship that one coloring book to Denmark. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do this again. But I shout out to all my international market because I get people from Canada, Brazil, France, South America. Brazil is in South America, law, but I get people from all over the world wanting my coloring books, and unfortunately, I don't ship there as of right now, and I don't have any intentions of putting my stuff on Amazon because why would I give them all my money and then not have them even printed on good quality paper? You know. And even print on the good paper. But we're gonna get into it now. But this is the colored version of Paws and Proper. By the way, I don't know if y'all ever tried this. I put like a blue on the border and I did not like the blue. It was too dark and it was like clashing with them. So I put like several washes of gray marker on top and it gave it like this acid washed effect. I'm kind of in love with it. I'm gonna go through and make all these little designs on it, but I kind of love the effect it gave it. Oops, excuse me. All right, so let's get into color pencils. Now I don't even know if the person who requested color pencils is here right now. Like, there's 6 of y'all in here, so at least 5 of y'all for sure. Say hi. I only see 2 people saying hi. If you have my syllabus, this is in the syllabus. Every now and then I go back to this page to color stuff on it. I'm going to start here, but I have other pages. There is a entirely there's new practice sheets for this lesson. So if you didn't get a chance to print, I knew that was going to scare somebody away. Every time I say, y'all say hi, I always scare somebody away. They act like I spooked them and called them out. There is a new practice sheet. It is Art and Coloring Lesson 7, Colored Pencils. It's in the Google Drive. Remember, the Google Drive is linked in my bio. So or you can get a link. The link is also in the email I sent earlier. So, oh, good night. Hey. Yeah, that's why I always like, hey, yeah, go print. This page is from the syllabus. This was one of the very first sheets I gave you. This is the one I'm going to dive into because I'm going to talk about blending with color pencils on this sheet. And then for the practice sheets, we have like a packet. We have the teddy bear, which we're going to practice. You're going to make him fluffy. And we also have this front practice sheet. This is a lot of fun, the butterfly and the flowers. And then we have a super fun one. If we can get to it, I'm hoping we will. If not, it'll be on TikTok live, which is the makeup. I will do makeup with color pencils. You're not doing anything wrong. They're going to look like they're sitting because they're in fact sitting on top. That is what they're doing. They're sitting on top. So they're going to look like that. Prismacolors are extra waxy, so you're going to see them more. But the trick is knowing how to blend them. The trick is knowing how to blend them and what colors to pick. Because this is a lot of color pencil on her face. from other ones that are heavily color penciled. This is also a lot of color pencil on her face. Her makeup itself is color pencils. It's just about knowing which color pencils to pick. But I'm going to be using the Ohuhus today. Ohuhu. Like I said, it's 72 markers. Not markers, color pencils. Lord. Pencils. And they're very, very soft. Which means they'll probably be used up real quick because they are so soft. But before I even get to those, we got to put our base layers down. So I'm very quickly going to color in my base layer for my, Hi! Should I do the strawberries or the grapes? Welcome, welcome. Don't forget to like the live, guys. Don't forget to like as you come in. Oh, hey, kitty. Grapes. Okay, I'm using these are grabby acrylic markers, by the way, and not these are grabby alcohol markers. Which reminds me, I need to do a comparison video. I have so many new marker brands now. Now it's time for me to do a comparison video, a face-off. There's so much content to make. The Ohuhu ones. Okay. Let that dry a little bit. And all I'm doing, this is a color pencil like lesson, so I'm not doing much with these markers. I'm just laying down the flat color and then my shade. That's it. And it might not even be dark enough to shade with. There we go. Hello. Would y'all like me to switch these to 7:30? Because I notice everybody usually arrives around 7, a little bit after 7. I don't mind because I be fighting to get here at 7 myself. I said, okay, say something. Y'all know me. I'll be like, 7 classes at 8. Like, don't stop with me. I be fighting to get here. Like, 7 come quick sometimes. I don't mind switching on to 7:30 for next week. I said 7 comes quick for me too. I'm like, what? It was just 5 o'clock. Okay, so this is just me basically putting down the base color and a little color for some shadow. Those are the Grabby alcohol markers, by the way. Those were not a who, those are Grabby. In case you were looking for a budgeter friendly marker, because Ohuhu itself is a budget friendly marker. If you don't believe me, go down to Michaels. And you don't even need to look at Copic. Look at Artist Loft, the great value version of art supplies, and look and see how much the Marcus is. I bet you never fix your mouth to complain about a marker price again. With this should be these are like those grapes your grandmama used to have in the kitchen and in the coffee table. It's in the syllabus. It's the very first sheet I gave y'all. It's in the syllabus. All of the sheets I use are linked in my bio. All of them. There's a full Google Doc. I mean Google Drive with a whole bunch of practice sheets. Okay. So now that I got my base colors down, it's still a little wet and wobbly. Of course, I forgot to put my protector sheet underneath. I'm about to get rid of this pink mat. It has seen better days. Sis look like she's been through a battle. Told you them so everything is linked to where y'all can get them. Okay. Jeez. Okay. I miss the Netherlands. They seem my favorite place to travel to. Okay, so I'm doing color pencils. I'm using the Ohuhu oil-based color pencils. I also have Prismacolor. It's not that much difference. It's just the Ohuhu is softer. But this is one thing that I do not argue with people about. It is when you are using color pencil, one of the essential things you want to get is you want to get yourself a good sharpener. And this one I swear by. They have them at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Amazon. They're available in so many places. There's no reason to not have this. Yes, and you can, as a substitute, you can use a sharpener for a makeup pencil. You can use that. But I'm like, this when you use it, all of your filings go in one place. So I was like, it's not that expensive. It's under $10. And not only does it do color pencils, and even says right here, color, but it also works on your graphite pencils as well. So you have, it does a little bit of everything. And it's very durable because I have dropped this thing buku times. You're going to hear people say all the time, oh, I just use a knife. And you're going to lose a finger. Why would you do that? Half of us do not have, we have the attention span of gnats. Why is you taking a blade to a pencil? Get you a sharpener. It's an accident waiting to happen. You're going to take the tip of your finger clean off. Get you a sharpener. You over there over the garbage can with a mandolin. All right. Like I said, I do have Prismacolor as well. This is my smaller Prismacolor case. I don't feel like pulling out the bigger one. But I do have Prismas as well. But these are the ones I'm using. The Ohuhus. And if I need to get a darker color, I will get the Ohuhus. Now, my honest reaction to the Ohuhus is that these are very nice, very sturdy, very, very smooth and soft. My biggest critique is that the colors, or all of the colors, are hypersaturated. They're extremely bright colors. I do not get any deep, rich colors. If I wanted to do a vampire, I'd be stuck out of I wouldn't be able to do it. They don't give me enough deep colors. If I wanted to do something really, really goth, they don't give me enough. They don't give me a deep dark red. I don't get a deep dark purple or blue or like a deep, deep brown. So I'd be stuck out if that's what I needed, if that's what I wanted. But I feel like you can get those and you can sublimate with like, so sublimate, Lord. Um, you can also go get some other colors too to go with them. That is my only thing. You don't get a lot of deep dark colors. As opposed to, yeah. I found a bigger Prismacolor one and almost knocked everything down. As opposed to when you open the Prismacolor, you know, you get those nice deep colors in there. You get you a nice dark indigo blue. You know, you get some darker color. Now, this is a smaller set, but if you have a bigger set, you're going to get some deeper colors in there. Oops, excuse me. This is another thing I recommend if you're going to have color pencils. Get you a pencil extender. Because like I said, some of these color pencils are expensive. And I am going to get every single sliver. Do you hear me? Every single slither. Every ounce of lead out of these pencils. I'm talking and giving y'all time to go print if you wanted to. Oh, okay. And then the final set of color pencils I have, I also owned the retractable color pencils. I do also own these. The only thing about this brand is I don't know if they have released refills yet. So I don't know if you're going to be able to get refills on these as of yet. And also, if you plan on keeping them... Also, if you are going to keep them in their case, they're a lot more difficult to store once you've actually started using them. As you can see, they're not sliding back in their slots easily because the lead is now extending over. Which I think that was not something they thought about when they were creating the packaging. Color. Don't ask me the name of nothing. You know I can't say. You know I can't say words. Color, Kelor. I don't know. Heck, the original thing was in whatever language that is, but it's on TikTok Shop and it's in my TikTok store. Almost everything that you see me use is probably going to be in my TikTok Shop. If it's not in my TikTok Shop, it's in my Amazon store. Because I get a lot of my stuff off of Amazon as well. So we have the retractable ones too. I may bounce back and forth between these. And you get a good variety of colors with these as well. They're a little waxy though. I will say they're a little waxy. Okay. And another thing I will point out about color pencils, paper matters when you're using color pencils. They matter. This is a very, very smooth paper that you see me using. This paper is really, really good for marker. But it may not take color pencils as well. Color pencils work really well if the paper has a little bit of grit to it, because it has something for it to hold on to, which is another reason why it says sometimes it feels like your color pencils are sitting on top of the page. It could also be the paper. The paper may not have enough tooth. That's what the word I was looking for. Not have enough tooth for it. Okay. So when I'm using my color pencils, I usually lay down my flats and I lay down a little bit of my shadow. And now to do the depth, instead of going in and getting like all the different markers, I'm just going to use color pencil to make this 3D. So I'm going to go in here. I know I'm dealing with my purples. We all got to start somewhere. This was my first Prismacolor set, 12. Just 12. So don't feel bad. I started with just 12. That's all I could afford at the time because these are expensive. I still got them because when I said I'm going to use every slither, I mean it. Okay, one thing when I'm dealing with color pencils is I'm going to try to get the colors that go with the piece, but I also try to think of what other colors can I use to really bring the piece forward. Which is why when you see me pick out color pencil colors, you see me pick out like 18 different colors. So for this one, I'm also thinking about what lighting I may want to use. Now we know that the opposite of purple is a yellow, so you may see me pick some yellow oranges to use as a highlight color to really make it pop. Because that's when you start getting like the real 3D looks and you have those colors that are like bouncing off of each other. So I know I'm going to need some purples, but I want to, let's see. I want to make sure I'm getting some purples that are not necessarily blending all the way in. I'm probably going to pick, I think this one is a good color. Red Violet is a good color. This color may blend, but I'm going to try it. Blue Violet. The thing with color pencils is not just in using them, is really, really looking at that color wheel I gave you. Remember in lesson 2 we did the color wheel, and now I'm going to pick me a pretty, maybe I think an apricot red would really pop off that purple because it's got a little bit of yellow, a little bit of red. I think it's going to really pop. And then I'm going to get a blue for my shadowing. And just because I know that this does not have a lot of dark colors in it, I'm going to have to get my dark, I'm going to pull out my Prismacolor. So I need that dark indigo. I try not to use black. But I try not to use black. I try to use like an indigo blue or a deep purple for my shading. But if you don't have a lot of colors to work with, then, you know, obviously you would be using black. But I try to avoid it, because black can sometimes kill something and make it look flat. Because technically black does not exist in real life. Unless you're talking about very, very, very deep shadows at nighttime. But if you look at a shadow during the daytime, it's not black. Hi. Okay. So these are the colors I'm starting off with. See, I got 2 shades of purple, a shade of blue, a shade of orange, and some black. And then, you know, you could always use white too, but I usually put my white at the end. First, I'm going to test this because I don't know. This purple is going to blend right in. I'm just going to use this as a blender to help me blend stuff in if it doesn't look like it's blending properly. Because this is going to be the exact same. You can tell it's the exact same color. So I'm going to start with my... And I'll try to keep a point on them. This is not quite a point. They blend better when it's a point. They blend way better when they're pointed. There we go. Think of them as makeup pencils. You know, when you have a makeup pencil, you usually want to keep a sharp point on it. And I'm always, you're just going to see me holding it at an angle. See how I'm like shading with the side. I'm not doing this because it's not a pencil. I'm shading at the side like this. I'm going in small circles. And the key thing to using these, stay in the direction you started in. Don't start here and then turn around and go this way. Stay in the direction you started in. Try to make all your strokes the same directions. Curve them if you need to. And the way that you do that, you'll be like, well, Jonquil, I can't get over to that section doing that. Turn the paper. Turn the paper. Turn the paper. Not I know that sometimes on social media we have this rule that you don't want to turn the paper. Turn the page around. Spin it. You should be spinning that paper like a stripper and rent is due. And this is kind of a throwback to that challenge that I showed y'all where we were shading the ball. Where, you know, pick out where your light is coming from, and then you can shade everything according to that light. So I'm just going in here, and I'm identifying where my shadows are. It's very, very subtle in the beginning. And one thing about color pencils is, just like with markers, start light. Start light. You can always go back in and make it darker. Press lightly and go darker in layers. Don't go in there pressing hard. You're going to ruin your page. The way that you build up darkness is you go over it in layers. This is a meditative process. Color pencils are not quick. They are meditative. If you want quick results, go to watercolor. And you're going to get stressed the hell out because watercolor does not listen. It's very hard-headed. So, you put some soft music on. If you got a kids, throw them out the room. If you got a dog, throw them out the room. If you got a significant other, throw them out the house. Because this is when you can really get in here and meditate. And I'm following the curve of the grape to put my shadows in. I'm taking my time. And so I put a lot of practice sheets in there. If we don't get to all of them, this will become a part 2 class. Because I know y'all probably want to see the makeup one. But before we get there, we got to do the teddy bear. And this is one of those things when you first start using them and start putting them on the paper, you may not see instant results right away. Like I said, you're gonna have to build up toward it. This is not an instant gratification art tool. And you see what I did? You see me spin that paper, huh? This also helps me to work smarter, not harder, because I can put my hand in a comfortable position and I just make the paper move. My hand stays where I want it to stay. Now, obviously, there are going to be instances when you can't do this. But that's usually if you're doing an entire painting or color pencil drawing, where you're going to have to like move here, move here, move here. We're just coloring. Yeah, but I go there sometimes, but Michael's is closer to my house. Hobby Lobby is on a street that has heavy traffic. What these grapes? So key things I want you to remember: you're coloring at an angle, and you're gonna make sure your point is, your tip must always be pointy. Mm-hmm. I don't give a damn if it's. I don't give a damn how funny that sounds. You can't go in there with blunt tips. See, this is why I say I'm not necessarily kid friendly. So you should, you should teach kids. You don't want me to teach your kid. I once heard somebody say the word balls and laugh for 30 seconds straight. I'm not teaching them. Substitute teachers do not teach. That's literally in the rule book. And when they come ask me questions, be like, Especially in math. I tell them straight up, we're going to both be wrong. Don't come up here and ask me nothing about no freaking long division. Because I'm going to tell you, find a friend who know it. I don't want to. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know how many schools have asked me to take on being an art teacher permanently? Absolutely not. I am an art teacher. Aren't I teaching y'all art right now? Is this not a class? I have no desire to work in a school setting. I have no desire to give people grades, to tell people they passed or failed. I have no desire to do that. Hello. Besides, y'all do know that the art teacher doesn't get to decide the curriculum. The school board does. Now I'm taking this color that is the exact same. Let me move, make sure my things are in screen. Now I'm using this color that's the exact same color as the grapes, and I'm kind of using that to blend. Let me pull it up so you can see it. So you see, it still has a bit of a waxy finish, but not as much as what you're probably used to. If I hold it at an angle, you can really start to see the dimensions forming. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Rena. Oh, you don't have to worry. I realized a long time ago I do not belong in that setting. I'm a sub just because that's a contract job. That is not, but it's not my desire to work in the school system. If the only way you would see me be an official teacher would be is if I was a college professor, and I have to go back to get my master's for that. But no, that is not one of my goals. I like teaching here. I like teaching online. And I like coaching artists who are in the field of art. But I don't mind every once in a while going to a high school or doing like a after school program, to give back to the community. I don't mind, or mentoring a kid. I don't mind that. But leaving me with a bunch of kids and telling me I have to grade them, I'm not doing it. Not to mention a lot of the teachers, they don't have a lot of art schools anymore. A lot of art electives anymore. A lot of schools are getting rid of them. A lot of schools are getting rid of their art electives. Well, I don't do realistic faces. My faces I do aren't realistic. I will tell you the best teacher I had for realistic for realism. The best teachers I had. One was a book called How to Draw from Photographs. It was a book. That book may still be in print. I got it when I was in high school. That was the best lesson I ever had in teaching faces. The second one is drawing people in real life. There's no substitute. Those were the best things that's what taught me how to draw faces before I went to, and like I said, when I went to college I took figure drawing, had to draw the naked people. I'm trying to find somewhere in New Orleans that does like live figure drawing, because I haven't gone to a figure drawing class, a session, in years. That is the best way to learn how to draw people. But there's plenty of videos on here. Yeah, I was telling people, don't sleep on the art books. Do not sleep on the art books. They taught me so much. Before I even stepped foot in the art classroom, a book taught me how to draw people. So we're getting there. Like I said, it's a slow process. It's not. It's mapping. It's practice. It's not rocket science, but there is a slight science to it. You gotta understand it's basic shapes and learning how to map the face. And then also learning how to draw shadows. A lot of people don't realize that drawing the face is all about drawing shadows. Now I'm going in with my darkest color that isn't black, and I'm gonna try to pop out a few more shadows on certain grapes to make them look like they're really sitting on top. And I'm gonna do a couple cast shadows too. Now if I hold it up, you can start to see the difference. See how these two pop off more from the rest of the grapes? Because I put those shadows underneath them with that dark color. Notice I'm not using black, yet I'm still able to. Your brain is still seeing shadows. And also, if you don't have the color that you need for shadows, try a dark brown. Dark brown does great for shadows too. You still want to learn how to draw from real people because anime does not use human proportions. Anime characters' bodies are stylized. That's not real. That's not our real proportions. I'll be honest with you. I learned how to draw from drawing real people. When I first started drawing as a kid, I drew anime characters and everything like that. I drew anime characters because that's what we all drew. We drew anime characters, we drew cartoons. But when I really had to get into it, I had to learn how to draw people. And not just skinny people, big people, old people, you know, men, women. You can see if I forget where you live, but you can see if your city has free figure drawing classes. When I was in New York and Atlanta and New York used to have them all the time, free figure drawing. Let me spin that paper one more time. Oh, and I gotta remember to keep pushing the paper up where y'all can see it. Sometimes I get so into it and forget it, don't realize it's too low in the camera. Okay. So I'm gonna hold that up because then sometimes it's hard to see because the color pencils are shiny. So I'm gonna hold it up. I'm gonna put a little more shadow right here in this area and maybe right here too. And definitely right here. I'm trying to get to the point to where it almost looks like you could just that grape right out. All of that helps. All of that helps. But you're still gonna have to draw people. You're still gonna have to draw people. And not much, just maybe one or two little sessions or whatever. And they have plenty of online resources where you can like pull up the people, pictures of the people. And there's some great anatomy books that you can just practice drawing the pages in the anatomy book. If you can't get the real people, there are some great anatomy books. Like I said before, my house fire, I had like a really really nice anatomy book. I might have to do a blog post on like books that I've read that I think would be great. And not all of them are serious books. There's one book about drawing comics. The entire book is illustrated with stick figures and is one of the best books ever. I have to look them up, but usually there's a couple of good ones. If you go on Amazon and put on anatomy books for artists, you're gonna see a bunch of good ones with very high reviews. That's usually a good indicator of a book. So I got the base down now. Now, if I really, really want to put, if I had darker colors, I would go even darker, but I'm going to try to stay with just these colors because we got other things to do. But now I want to start putting in a little bit of light because when you're working with color pencils, you can go dark and light. So I'm going to use this color here because this is like a complement to our purple. It's an orange, but it's a very, very yellow orange. And we know yellow and purple are complement each other. So I'm going to use a little bit of that. And I might get a light blue as well. I might just be a little fancy and give me a light blue too. A little fancy. Hold on. Let me get this light purple. This is perfect. I got this very, very pale, I don't know how to say that word, purple color. I'm going to use this as my white highlight. So they're using white. Let's see, I'm again sharpening these pencils. And the funny thing is, it also already kind of tells me a little bit where I could put a little bit of the bounce off color. You see how that base purple from the markers already has like a yellowish undertone? I'm going to exaggerate that more. See that right there? I'm going to exaggerate that a little more. So like I said, very, very soft. Oh, because I'm using it the wrong way. See how you see how my lead kept you see how my lead kept breaking? Because I was holding my pencil wrong. They're very soft. They're not meant to be held like a pencil. I forgot myself for a second. Now my lead is not breaking. And now I'm getting a smooth blend and there's no lines in it. So I'm using it the right way now. Also, when you're using them, have a brush. Um, if you have like a soft makeup brush or something, have a brush because you're gonna get little bits. You're gonna get little bits of lead here and there. If you have like a little soft makeup brush, you can wipe it off easily without smearing anything. Because color pencil can smear. So I'm gonna hold this up so you can actually see what I'm doing. Put a little bit of that orange as a highlight. And I don't know if y'all know this, but the color pencils can blend into each other. You can create gradients with them. That's another thing that helps them look really, really well done is understanding that color pencils blend into each other. Because if I hold this color pencil down at the right angle that I want to hold it down and I color it in, get another color, making sure, like I said, got a point on it, holding it at the right level. I can begin to blend them together to make a smooth transition from one color to the other. That, and just like what I do with a marker to blend, take the other color, go right back over it again. See? You can blend them from one to the other to where you can't tell where the line is. Because now it looks like I use 3 color pencils instead of 2. If you want to get super fancy with it. See these colorless blenders that come with every marker set? Trying to get that color off of there. If you ever want to experiment in like a sketchbook or something, they will blend these too. Now I gotta get that off of there. Get off, get off. Yeah, get off, cough, 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 get off. Thank you. Remember that colorless blender? It's nothing but alcohol. Okay. And that's essentially what I'm also doing on the grapes. You just can't see it as much. I blended them one color to the other. That's why they look smooth like that. But yes, they can blend. You just got to go back and forth over with each other like you just saw me do. That's another thing that make them look more realistic when you put them on top of your markers. Blend them. Blend one color to the other. Okay. Now I'm going to use this light color. And like I said, they blend a lot better when you're laying them down and you're doing it at an angle. So the main things I want you to practice when you're drawing, coloring with them, watch the angle that you're holding your pencil at. Make sure your point is always sharp. Just do those 2 things, and then you make sure when you're shading, you go in the exact same direction. You notice when I was blending from one color to the other, I stayed the exact same direction. If you change directions, now you're cross hatching. You're not blending. Because you don't always have to use white. If you look at shadows in real life, they're not white. The only time you would see white is if you got a super, super hot light on something. But if the light is soft, the shadow is soft. And the shadow is not necessarily white. And if you're going to use white, it will be the last color that you use. But you would always try to have like another color to show how soft the light is. All white is gonna do, if you all the stark white is gonna do is give it a more cartoony look. You wait to the end to add that white, and then you'll be very decisive of where you put it. This is if you're going for more realism. Now, if you're going for a more stylized, cutesy look, you can do whatever you want. But for this right here, I'm just showing you how color pencils can help you render something to have a little more depth to them. Because if I put a light on your face right now, is your skin now white because the light is on there, or is it just a lighter shade of your skin? And there's gonna be parts of your skin where the light is so strong that it does create a white highlight, but it's not all your skin that the light touches. It's only certain parts. Unless you're standing in the middle of a floodlight. But one of the main things when it comes to rendering art, your white and your black are your highest points of contrast. So you want to be meticulous where you place them. And I know that when we're on Color Talk and we're all coloring, it's a lot of fun to take a white gel pen and just put white highlights everywhere. I do it myself sometimes because it's fun. But that makes no dang sense. We just doing it for aesthetics. We're just doing it because it's cute. But that's an eye. We're not talking about an eye. We're talking about grapes. Okay. There are certain parts where you're gonna see a very, very bright highlight. Lip gloss, for instance, when it's photographed, looks white. But if you pay attention when you see me draw lips around the area where the white highlight is, I automatically make that part of the lip lighter. Because there's layers to it. And if I hold this up without me using white, can't you still tell where the light is hitting? All I'm saying is if you're trying to make something if you're trying to render something to look 3D, you're not going to use as much white as you think. You're not going to touch it with white until the very end. That white gel pen should be the last thing that you pick up. But again, it comes down to your own coloring style. I'm just showing y'all how to make your artwork look good when you're using a color pencil on top, you know. There's a method to it. That's why mine blends so well. And you very rarely see me use a white color pencil. Because I'll show you, look on here. Where is the white gel pen on her face? One spot right there, and that was just for razzle dazzle. She has a little bit on her lip to show that they're glossy, and she has the white shine in her eyes. That's it. I don't use white anywhere else on her except for Lil Pops for stylization. But none of this, there's no white. There's also no black. All of this shadow is done with dark blues and purples and browns. And if she had a matte lip, I wouldn't even use the white pen. Only reason it's there is to show the fact that she has gloss. Or if she had a bare lip, I would barely use it. Or I'll put the white pen down and then smear it with my finger so it wouldn't stay solid and shiny. I always tell people that y'all be peppering that dang white everywhere. It's like it doesn't serve a purpose. It's pretty though. It's pretty. And I think at the end of the day, when you are coloring, it should be fun. And if you like the white pen everywhere, put the white pen everywhere. But if you're asking me technical art questions, I'm going to answer them technically. Technically. No white. Only white there is used right there in her lips. I don't use the white anywhere else. Even though, granted, her face is still white. But, you know, see what I'm saying? I don't use that white color pencil. You very rarely will see me pick up a white color pencil. It can muddy your page. Or if I need, like, soft highlights, I'll use it. Let's see if I can, if it even... I don't want to use their white color pencil. Their white color pencil is too soft. I need Prismacolor, I believe. Or I could just use my white thing. Alright. White gel pen. This is not the white gel pen. Is that a white gel pen? It is a white gel pen. Is that white? That is white. Okay. And so I will now use my white gel pen sporadically. Here and there. Because if you're not careful, it can give you, you know, it can get over, it can be too much real quick. There we go. Soften it a little bit. But like I said, it's all about being stylized. Like, for example, if I'm coloring a teddy bear and I want the teddy bear to look fluffy, I'm not going to be using the white gel pen too much because the white gel pen is a harsher line. Unless you're gonna soften it with like your hand, your thumb, like your finger, like I'm doing. Certain things I'm not going to use that gel pen for because they're going to take away from the texture. Because how can you get that harsh of a line on something that's fluffy or soft? Unless you're doing it for aesthetic reasons. Then I'll allow it. Because aesthetic matters. And see, it creates a totally different effect when you see me like stamp it out with my finger a little bit. And there is our grapes. I think they're enough. Now, I could sit here with them and render them for another hour if I wanted to. That's the thing about color pencils. The more you layer, the better they get. This was literally just a quick showing. But the more you layer with them, the better they get. Like, you can take a color page and with color pencils, turn that sucker into a whole masterpiece. Okay. Those are my grapies. Not worried about the leaves so much. Excuse me. This is a fun practice. I'm going to put these color pencils up in a moment. Yeah, the choice of color pencils means something. Like I said, having those softer highlight blends, not going immediately to white. That is what, not using black everywhere, because in nature those colors do not exist, in stark nature. Because even something that looks white, like a white flower, it's not it's depending on what lighting you find it in. Well, I take that back. Snow is white. But if you try to shade snow, you would have to shade snow with the colors that are surrounding it because snow reflects light. But snow itself is supposed to be white, but technically if you tried to color it, you would have to shade it with whatever color is reflecting on it. It's a color theory is funny. Okay. Now this is another exercise that y'all could do and practice. This is a fun one. Even if you don't use the color pencils, this one is just a fun one because he's so cute. He has big anime eyes. Although these little lines are weird. Um, the goal is to color him and make him look fluffy. So I'm going to stick. Let's see if I can find a brown that I want. I might use that brown. I'm sleepy today. I stayed up all night reading a book. No, I didn't. I got up and I've been up. I have a lot of things to do. And I still have, I'll take a nap when I finish this because I have an all-nighter to pull ahead of me. I have a lot of goals I'm trying to accomplish, and I'm just going to do it. I got to knock them out. I'm saying that, but I'm going to end up passing out and not waking back up. But a lot of things I got to do. And a lot of videos to edit. So I shot a vlog last week and never posted it. Because I went back and forth. I know I'm going to reshoot it. Like, no the hell I'm not. Post it, heifer. I'm doing him with brown teddy bear, and I'm going in circles. Oh hell, I looked over at your comment and went right off on the screen. No, I have not finished the Birthstone. I already told y'all the Birthstone is gonna be a slow series. I have multiple projects going on at once. This is not gonna be like the other ones where you have seen me rush through them. I'm not letting social media speed me up this time. I'm gonna take my time. And if I don't get till December's Birthstone until December, that's just what it is. I think social media has trained us to think that art is supposed to be on a certain timeline for content. And art takes the time it takes. Oh, I'm fine. If I stay up late or all night, it's a labor of love. My old school, we had a saying: "Sleep comes after death." Notice how I use that colorless blender to start lifting that color. When this dries, I'm gonna go over it again. And when it gets light enough, I'm gonna take an acrylic paint pen and I'm gonna chain it back white. I still say the chisel brush is the best brush to get your background. You gotta fill a large area one color. Your chisel brush is better than the brush tip because you can just cover way more area and have less streaks. I'm not allergic to pollen. I'm allergic to dust, certain foods, liars, and brokenness. Allergic to the poa. I'm gonna complete this circle and just make this whole area brown. I'm gonna make his tummy a different color. I should have used one of my new sign markers. I'd have been done. Because they're so dang juicy. I'd have had this whole thing filled up. Yeah, I'm allergic to the pour. I'm sorry. Can't do it no more. I'm allergic to the pour. I've decided. It makes me uncomfortable. Try to get in. Start the color for his belly. This is a new sign marker. I felt like these would be a lot easier to go over large areas. See how quick this is about to be? Look. Look how quick that was. To which markers? Look how quick that was. There are no replacements to the ones that I just used. A lot of markers don't have replacements. Copic and Ohuhu and I think maybe Prismacolor or whatever have like replacements or refills. A lot of the rest of them you have to buy the entire pack again. Copic, Prismacolor, Ohuhu, and Pro markers. Or those are maybe the only ones you can buy individual markers. The rest of them, the cheaper brands, you're gonna have to replace the whole set. Yeah, that's the thing. The cheaper brands they're not gonna give you like individuals. You're gonna have to buy them, the whole set. Now, what color is your little thing gonna be? I refuse to use red onion. Red onion, kiss my. So, get your little teddy bear rendered. See the difference? No streaks at all. So when you're covering large areas, the new markers are so superior. No streaks at all. Well, that's the thing. That's why they're cheaper. That's why they're cheaper. It started with me. Oh, that's a dark color. Now I'm just gonna put a little bit of shading. Not much because I'm gonna do most of my shading with the color pencil, but this just gives me a little bit of starting point. I didn't use a hoo-hoo. I haven't used a hoo-hoo this whole night. I'm using all of my budget art markers. It's the markers are Grabby and Hotu. No Ohuhu was harmed in the making of this teddy bear. Okay. So now we got a little bit of our shape. Oh, tummy. I'll put these back. I don't need these anymore. This is dry. I might be able to use the color that I used to make it a little bit darker. Oops, I went over the... I'll just make it intentional. I didn't mean to go over the bow, but make it intentional. That's the only thing about these markers. They are great for cut, but you see, they're very hard to control because that tip bends all the way down. So if you're trying to do a small area, that's not going to work. But for large areas, it's perfect. Okay. He's a cutie patootie. Now, if I wanted him to keep a more cartoony look, I would whip out the white gel pen right now and give him little white highlights. Everybody with me? I'm pulling out my browns. He's a warm brown, so I know I need to stick to my warm browns. This one, I like this one too. And for when I need to go darker, I'll get this color. And if I want to highlight him, what will I use? Probably more blue. I'm gonna see. I'll pick out his highlight color later. Make him a little fluffy. I'm gonna actually go in small circles. Oh, this is the exact color of that the marker undertone. You can't even tell between the marker and the color pencil. This is the exact color match. You can't even tell to get a darker color. There we go. Get the darkest color in my Wepertal. Wepertal. Repertal. Oh, Lord. Rep. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Hell. This is do these in little circles. See, I do little circles because he's fluffy. And I'm not covering the whole teddy bear. I'm leaving a lot of surface area, the straight brown. I'm just putting in some shading here and there. Oh, it really got a little bit of texture on him. Gotta keep this sharp pencils. And you see how it's starting to smooth out the streaks. So another reason why I don't really worry about streaks as much. To say you don't have to once you start rendering color pencil, you can literally buff those out. All you have to do is find a color pencil that matches whatever it is underneath it, and you can literally buff it out. I need to find me a lighter color too. Make his highlight color. Might just use that I used earlier. Let me see if I like this color or not. If not, I'm going to use a pink. Yeah, I like this color. This will work. You could barely see it, but it's just subtle enough to be a highlight. It's just subtle enough to blend to a highlight. Oops. Even lighter. Let me see. I don't want him to have like bright yellow highlights. I like the bright yellow. Pink. I had a feeling the pink would work. And it does. The pink works as my white. I had a feeling it would. Maybe if I have another pink. Pink. Oh no! My colors are out of order. Man. They rolled out of place. Back. There you go. I mean, they really just slid to the side. Y'all literally just slid y'all behind onto the... Y'all just ease on down the road. fix it later. Damn it. I opened that one to find a certain pink. There we go. Put this pink up. I think it's too cold. It's a lavender. I don't want lavender. A light blush. A light blush. Okay. Yeah, this is going to end up being a part 2 class because color pencils take a long time. And I'm going to just finish his face, and I think that's enough for you to get the gist of what I'm doing. So I'll speed it up a little bit. Welcome back. Who else is this thing? I don't know if I mentioned this before, but if you have a good enough eraser, like a really, really good eraser, you can actually lift color pencil up if you accidentally make it too dark. I don't know where the heck I put my color my eraser at, but I do have an eraser that I use. I mentioned it in one of my Michael's videos. I pointed out in the store, if you have a really good eraser, that you can actually lift color pencils. Not a pink eraser. It's usually a white eraser. Pink erasers might end up smearing stuff everywhere, but a white eraser, that usually will help you. Here it is. This eraser. You can get one like this. They can lift color pencil. That one that I just showed you. You can find those at like Hobby Lobby and Michael's, or to like your local art stores, or on Amazon. Y'all got it so easy when it comes to finding art supplies nowadays. Hell, used to be you can only get certain art supplies at certain stores. Just like that in anime figurines and DD's discounts in Ross now. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell are you doing in Marshalls, Naruto? I used to have to go to conventions to wait in line to get you. Spend horrible amounts of money. And here you lie. That's a good eraser. Yeah, some of that real good art supplies will last you for years. Be holding on for dear life, but it'll last you. I said, for all the money I paid for you, lifetime guaranteed. Let's see if I grab one of my darker retractable ones if that makes a difference. Or is this the darkest it's gonna go? Yeah, yeah. Anime's become the thing. He's in dark blue. I want some darker areas, so I'm using a blue as a shadow to get me some darker areas in here. So I said, I don't have a darker brown, so I'm using a blue. And since this is a brown that has a lot of red and orange in it, it's gonna look like a dark shadow color. See? And the same principle that I'm doing here is the same principle I do when I'm shading faces. Although, when I'm shading faces, one of the things that I taught myself for how to structure my face when it came to the makeup is I look at a lot of drag makeup. When they're doing all their contouring and everything, I look at a lot of drag makeup. Every time I see a drag makeup like transformation tutorial, I'm sitting and I'm watching it because I'm watching where they're putting their darks, where they're putting their lights. Because you can translate that to your artwork. You just have to soften it a bit. Oop, ran out of bounds with that color pencil. Eraser. It's not gonna get all of it up, but it'll get enough of it up. As you can see, like I said, I could take my time and spend hours on him and end up with like a fully rendered teddy bear that looks like I could pick him up. But it takes a long time to build that up, and I'm going kind of fast. And the way you would see people build it up is they would literally be spending like an hour or two working on one section of the damn bear. It's like I said, color pencils are a label of love. That's why when a lot of time you see a lot of artists do color pencil lives, it's a 3-part series. And I hope that after a while you start to see why I teach certain things, why I had y'all do the value scale and color theory, because I was like, if you can learn the value scale and color theory and the basics of like shading, it will take you through everything. Anything that is could be simple, you can render it to be like something very complex. This is just a little teddy bear. I don't want to spend too much time on this sucker. Like I said, color pencil rendering is a job. But if you can nail it, it's so rewarding. Y'all still with me? Or y'all just relaxing? I had to give my wrist a break. Anybody coloring along? I think y'all get the gist of it. As you can see, as I get closer, you start losing those streaks. I'll pick him up so you can kind of see him. say from afar, it doesn't look like I'm doing much. When you lift it up, then you see all the detail. I'm gonna finish him later, so don't want us to be here all the way and not get to our other stuff. Now we had our other practice sheets in there where we had the butterfly, but I think I want to do one of these. And that is one of the things that I like to use color pencils for, is to render makeup, because it's nice and easy to blend. So I'm just going to get a color, and it doesn't really matter the skin tone. Like, it's like really, really nice to blend. Just going to grab the new markers again. I'm just going to give her a basic skin tone. That's a starting point. But this is why you got to swatch, because look at that top and look at the color that comes out. I would have never guessed it. I was like, that is not the brown I was expecting when I looked at that top. But this is why I said swatch those markers. Because what you consider brown may not be what they consider brown. Now I'll continue coloring along while I do this. Get this prepped. I'm using these new markers, and I'm not really caring about the streaking. I'm just trying to get some color down. I can already tell I'm going to end up printing out multiple of these. Okay, so with this, it's really no rules when it comes to it because it's whatever you want it to be. It's yours, you know. You pick out whatever colors you want for your people. Put some shadows on their eyes. It's just using color pencils to render some makeup looks. Whatever makeup look you want for your eyes. I didn't swatch check that. I didn't know it was gonna be that bright. Can't even see her at the bottom. Okay. We got our render. Like I said, you pick whatever colors you want to be your colors. I think I'm gonna do her in some aquamarine colors. You can play around, decide if you want to do cut creases or whatever it is. I'm picking these two colors for my top girl. I always like to put the lighter color on the... Now when I'm doing eyeshadow, you will see me use a white color pencil here and there. I always like to put my lighter color on the inside lid. And I render them the same way they give you the little instructions in the eye shadow palette without looking up anything on Pinterest or anything. I'm just going to render it as if it's a normal smoky eye. And don't worry about going over the lashes. You can fix that later. You can literally use a black color pencil, sharpen really, really sharp to get your eyelashes back, or use a black gel pen. And like I said, with this, it's all about building up layers to get them as deeply colored as you want.